I just noticed after hanging around for a while that the Pearl drone will transform back to Pearl. I'm assuming this happens after you beat the first 30 floor climb. And you go to a random spot and just basically look at her sweetheart. Nice detail to notice. But the moment you start moving, well, I'm going to get a good look at her while she's up on there. I mean, it's not often that you're gonna see those details or something. But she's gonna de-transform as soon as I start walking now. So yeah, it's been a couple of nights. Haven't found the best times to record this and such. Been busy with other obligations, and yeah. But now we're about to begin attempt number 5. I don't know if I'll do 2 attempts tonight, but I'm just trying to do as much as I can. And not a bad start. I mean, sure, you have drone gauge stuff for something without a drone. But main firing speed? Let's go for it. I try to basically reduce how many times I try to do it in a single night and such. My energy has been a bit crazy. Because it's been very fluctuative or something. Because it's just trying to find that creative drive to do anything. Needless to say, I don't like the news that's been going around at this time of year going on. I'll leave it at that. And of course, these marching lentos want to cause a problem for me. Yeah. The first, since we're on the 8 ball in terms of floors, and I just got it in a bit of a ping-ponging motion now. The game mode is this: just send an 8 ball straight into a goal, and more often than not, because where was the second ball? Where? What? I noticed 2 balls that were that weren't accounted for, but then I get 1 ball. And that was it? Excuse me? I mean, at least I got main firing speed. So yeah. I'll take sticky ink. Right now, our main color is red, but soon it's about to become red with an accent of purple. Or it's just going to stay red. But now we have to deal with Turbine Tower. Around the beginning of each climb, the floors are going to be easier to deal with. There will be less enemies to take care to fight. Depending on the floor, there might even be more enemies. And the floor is a bit more factory-based. Like, it's factory and museum and such. So, yeah. We're doing tower pushing. This is basically... Think of tower control, only you have to shoot the tower rather than just be on the tower. And sometimes use your special on the tower just to make that final push. It might help it. No, wait. I almost went and selected a floor without reviewing the floors. Inksaver sub sounds good. We do have a really good sub to have, but maybe this will be good. Squid Tech is really good, especially for portals. And we're now on the 3rd game mode. We are on Fleeting Foes. In this game mode, all you have to worry about are basically these panicking Alamambos. And anytime anytime you get in close proximity of them, they will run. Their main form of attacking is to basically leave behind a splat bomb. If you get caught by that splat bomb, instant critical stasis. Now, be aware that whenever I'm talking about strategies and so on and so forth, I'm talking about strategies in your base components. And by that I mean when you have no hacks turned on. Because if you have hacks turned on, a lot of this stuff may feel a bit may feel a bit stronger than it actually is. But if no hacks turned on, well, you have to deal with a lot more than you realize. Okay, hindrance damage. These two aren't exactly useful to me, so I'm taking the hindrance damage. I think my color hasn't changed simply because I haven't had a very abundant color choice and such, and having hindrance damage with sticky ink is pretty good. So for this floor, well, we have to deal with battering lentos, and with squid attack, well, sometimes this is really good for portals, but you need to have some room before attacking the portals. And you saw how many battering lentos have spawned from the other portal after we destroyed that one. This is also one of the few floors that actually have grind rails. You usually have to deal with ink rails, which is something you have to swim around in. But in having grind rails, you can basically stand on them and fire from the safety of the rail. And squid attack is basically for doing squid rolls and squid surges. You just have to hold B and on a wall, or you just have to snap back, like do a snap back and press B while you're doing it to basically do a squid roll. I think like vending machine's always like guaranteed by floor 5, but I don't find it exactly worth it to do when you only have like less than 1,000 mem bucks. So I'm gonna go to the I'm gonna do a bonus floor. We're gonna do a special gauge charge, and it's either gonna be it is power spectrum. Now, if you look at your gauge, well, you can see that your entire palette is completely full. Some things may not even be full, but this is another secret about it. This is actually, as far as I can tell, if sped up enough, you have ebb and flow remixed here. So yeah, it's all power. A full send. And good thing I got this early so I can show this off too. This is always one of my favorite floors to get, and you can see that we have a lot of attack speed up too. It's only the chips that apply. Any chips that would apply to weapons we're not using will not show up. So I would say if you had, say, like, if you were playing with Splatling, Octavio's palette, you'd probably be given Splatling Barrage, which gives you more bullets per charge. So yeah. You know, this is actually a good floor for me to have, so let's go with this one. And I think that will just change my palette to being blue and purple. As you can tell, blue chips are more are mobile chips, purple chips are more support chips. And this particular floor, it can be very easy to get the first one, but there are cases where it might be difficult to get it. So be careful for that. And for this case, basically use the Trizuka. It's not the most damaging weapon in side order, but it's a really good pushing weapon. Like, it has really good knockback in this mode, and it's really great for pushing away the foes. If they get a little too close, be sure to hop away from them. Hop away as much as you can. Like, let them get off the area you want to shoot at, and then just fire. And that's about it. Support chips are all about, like, refueling, knockback, and such. And there are, like, 3 different types of chips that share a property about being caught in the ink and doing damage while being stuck in the ink. That's really good to have with Squid Attack on. I'm gonna take this. And with that, our main ink color becomes blue. Depending on, now this was pointed out before the game before the DLC released. Depending on your palette depends on your ink color depends on what's the most abundant color in your palette. And in this case, it is the mobile ink chips we have the most abundant of. So that is our that is our ink color. The second most abundant ink chip is going to be the accented color. So, as of yet, that is the support chips. Red chips are all about damage to either increase the firing rate of something or increase the damage, whether it be nearby, further back, in general, or because of explosions. Getting a lot of blues and purples. Mobile ink recovery. I mean, this sounds good, but I'm not sure if I want to have that in case I need to fight bosses. But let's take it. Homing shots can basically turn you into an aimbot, where regardless of where you fire, you'll always hit your target. For this one, well, we can't really do anything like squid attacking, so we kind of have to clear crowds and then shoot out of ammo. Sometimes, if you don't damage it enough, the ink will wash off from the portals. And if that happens, well, it means it's going to take longer for you to destroy the portals. So, remember when I say that the Trizuka in this game mode is more of a shoving tool than a damage tool? Keep that in mind. If enemies grow a bit too numerous and grow a bit too close to you, you want to fire straight at them to basically push them away. Because if you're able to push them away, you'll have a lot more room to act. Oh. Nah, I'm not doing this one. Rush knockback. This is not exactly useful for squid attack as far as I'm aware. I don't know. This, however, is. We begin with red, we end with red on the first line. So yeah, we are playing with Agent 4's palette. Agent 4 doesn't exactly have a face associated with their palette except for the Cuddle Gear logo. Simply, this is because Agent 4 can take many different looks. It's all dependent on how the player starts in the game, and based on the previous game's protagonists. And I'm pretty sure they didn't want to just call it the new captain's palette, like in Splatoon 3, how we have a new captain to deal with the disappearance of Captain Cuttlefish around Alterna. So this particular mode is Splat Zones. Splat Zones, much like the Anarchy battle mode, is all about making sure your zone stays the color you painted it with, and making sure that it never, well, gets decolored. I'm not sure if there's a better way of putting it. I can't remember what Marina called the process. And look at our membucks count, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anywho. We're going to be dealing with floor 10, which is going to be the asynchronous rondo. This boss is all about hitting the weak points and collapsing the telescoping machine. And we have a really good chip for it, homing shots. If you have your reticle on that machine, and as you can tell, the biggest issue about fighting these fighting gelatins with 0 hacks turned on, one nudge from these guys is enough to put you in critical stasis. Basically, those reticles will allow you to automatically attack the weak points, and those are really good, especially for a certain boss that I don't know if we're gonna face on floor 20 in this run. Who knows? You'll see by the time we'll get to floor 20. You want to hide behind these bumpers and such to avoid hitting the spotlights. As you can currently see, if you get spotted, they'll fire a torpedo at you. It can be, like, there are many different things they can fire at you. It can be a torpedo, it can be a ink strike, it can be toxic mist, which is probably the least threatening unless you're in critical stasis. Or it can be, like, or it can be a... Oof. Okay, shove him away. Ugh, critical stasis sucks. Oh no, I want to get out of there. Yeah! When you're in critical stasis, getting caught in the spotlight is the worst thing. Because, as you can tell, they changed their weapon of choice to Ink Strike. Ink Strike's the most dangerous weapon to get caught by. Because, well, it's a huge torrent of ink. What do you think it's going? Why do you think it's dangerous? Could be worse. Could be a Booyah bomb. Anyway, just hide behind these areas, wait until the spotlight is past it, and then just find the weak point and damage it. And unfortunately, you decide to speed the heck up before I can even have a chance to damage it. Now, I'll say this. I don't know what's the difference between the easy variant and the hard variant of Asynchronous Rondo. I can only assume it's more enemies and more frequent, probably more projectiles and such. But yeah. Now I can say we can spend our points, assuming the game is going to give us chips I can actually use. Because I had it be like, hey, here, have a drone gauge chip, even though you have no drone chips turned on. Dang it, you give this to me when I want to go here. And we got 2 easy floors at the start. Sometimes it's best to take an easy floor after a boss fight as a breather. But even on later floors, sometimes the bosses can be really... sometimes the easy floors can be really hard to deal with. Trade my shoving tool for... I mean... it's the best choice I have here. I have a Tentatek Splatter Shot now. So yeah. Turf Lucky Chain or Main Piercing. I'll take Main Piercing. Like, you can never tell what you're going to get with these runs, and because this is Hackless, this means I can't refresh it to get something useful. So, yeah. There are many different self-imposed challenge runs that I've seen people do. There's, like, Rainbow Challenge. There's a challenge involving a funny crewmate game. Please laugh. If only I can hear Darian laugh right now. Oh right, I don't have my shoving tool. This happened like twice now. But yeah, the second tier floors can also be a point where you can die a lot at, because with the higher tier floors, you're going to be dealing with way more threats this time around. And again, you saw how much that those triple ink strikes push the tower. I can easily push it a little bit more just to shove away all the mooks that come across it. And of course, the bounced off the lessest of... That did not sound right. And let's just get rid of this. Oof. Just basically fire near the pedals. Now there are 2 points where you can fire at the bottom and the top, and it'll still fill with ink. And if you're above the red line, it will push the tower. But I never really got to talk about the second tier floors. It's more of like an aquarium and a indoor pool-like area. Swim speed up, that sounds good. Sticky ink increase. Yes. I think this will make purple my most abundant color afterwards. Great, it's this floor. I don't like this floor. This floor, no matter what difficulty it is always the most pain in the butt floor it is. I'm trying to be PG-13 here, but I don't like this floor. I don't like it at all. And if a challenge doesn't seem feasible to you, well, here's a tip for you. Don't do the challenge. Save your life. Save your run. Yeah. But hey, we did it. I only moved once while swimming. How did that count? I'm gonna have to look at the footage. I don't like this floor. Actually, yes, I want this. Now with main firing speed, I hope I can get more of these. You can turn your weapon, like you can basically turn your splatter shot into an arrow spray, and then do probably what would probably end up being the Grizzco splatter shot, should there end up being one. And as you can tell, it's doing numbers to the portal, but it's spawning a lot of these little fish, these little gelatins. Like, they're not the most threatening gelatins, but because of how much they're invading in droves, well, it can be easy to be surrounded and then munched on. And now, the step-off song. Ugh, it's always a miracle to get one of those. Just, let's fire our triple ink strikes and call it there. I like to call the triple ink strike the Shinki Koho. You know, the attack that Tien uses. Even though I'm not really much of a Dragon Ball Z person. I think I want the vending machine corner. There are hacks to increase the vending machine corner stops and such. Now, one chip I'm not really going to go for are drone chips, simply because you are limited in your drone selection on Hackless. And these vending machines are developed by Express. Mean piercing... I mean... Might as well see what I can do with that. Mobile special charge... I mean, I would have liked firing speed. So, yeah. Now every like 5 floors, it's either every 5 floors or something, you'll get pearls guaranteed, regardless if you win or fail the run. And oh yes, ink bottle drop does sound useful, but this is really good to have. Get a bunch of these and you'll be golden, because Lucky Bomb Drop, these will not spawn naturally until you get at least one of these chips. Needless to say, Lucky Bomb Drop is essentially a ground control chip and a chain reaction chip. Basically, having it is a good way of just dealing with those problematic gelatins, such as the Noble Mentes right here. And boy, am I going to dislike those ones, depending on other chips. They're essentially stingers with chargers for the weapons instead of stingrays. And boy, does this game like referencing stingrays, despite the fact that, well, we're not gonna get stingray with the existence of triple not ink strike, Killer Whale 5.1. I'm pretty sure I'm naming it wrong, but basically, for this particular game mode, it's best to use your, like, if you have like triple ink strike, use your special on the tower and such. Of course, I somehow missed the tower. Sometimes it can just flash red for a bit, and if it gets caught in the gelatin's ink, well, it will be pushed back. So yeah, Ink Saver sub, but it's outstretched, uneven floor. I really don't want to deal with that floor. I'll take this floor. And I think orange is starting to become a more abundant color because I'm expecting a accent color change. So yeah. And actually it's my most abundant color now. Don't use your well, for this challenge I kinda don't want to. So yeah. This particular challenge. So fortunately, don't use your special is a more reasonable challenge to do. But I will say, I always hate it when the challenge they give me is don't move in octoling form, because that's kind of essential for survival, and I find it baffling they even kept that. So yeah, I'm gonna try. Well, first get that little. Since that mook is no longer on me. Oh no, you don't. Nope. If I can get poison ink, I can easily turn my ink into lava, because I'd have poison ink, hindrance damage, and sticky ink. Ugh. Seriously. Sometimes this challenge can leave a lot to be desired, or this game mode can leave a lot to be desired. And I have to dodge the... You! No, you don't! I took a direct hit because I had to deal with you and decided to be like, ooh, a ball. I'ma play with it like a puppy. Ugh. No, yeah. I'm getting a lot of range chips this time around. Why did it have to be this floor again? Why did this game suggested this particular floor so many times? And I thought I was gonna get, pressured into doing, well... into doing something like Sisyphus 8th floor or something. Ugh. So yeah, this is a hard floor for a reason, because of the number of enemies that will spawn from it. And as you can tell, you're going to be dealing with homing arpeggios, which are the worst to deal with, and drizzling capriosos, which are just as bad. They appear on nearly every single Splat Zone floor, simply because they want to cover your floor with their ink. And it's always this floor that I have trouble with. Ugh. Sometimes you just have to get really, really on the move just to basically stay alive. Mobile special, ink damage. Oh no, I know this one. I'm gonna do this floor because it's really good. I know this floor very well because of a method I've used that's basically guaranteed my victory every single time I'm on this floor. Now, this is basically cover both zones, then don't stop moving. As you can tell, our first caprioso we have to take down is right here. Once you deal with one caprioso, head to the opposite one and take care of that one there. Then head to the other one. Head to the other splat zone. There will be another caprioso waiting for you. Take it out. Then lather, rinse, repeat until the challenge is over. That's how consistent this floor challenge is. I don't know where the other caprioso is. There it is. I was getting a little bit worried there because I've never seen it take so long for that one to spawn. And that's about it. That's how much I know this floor. I think that might be the best time you can get on that floor. Now we're gonna deal with the hard mode boss of the Spire of Order. Floor 10's boss is going to be the easy variant. Floor 20's boss is the hard variant. And of course we get Pingy Marshall, however it's pronounced. I used to think it said Pingy Miracle. But for the hard mode variant, it fires 3 splat bombs, and its spin dash will now leave suction bombs behind. And it's a nightmare if you end up getting damaged by this thing. Now, of course, it's doing one of its more dangerous attacks, but you can interrupt it by making it hit a bumper. Because you made it hit a bumper, it has basically stopped its lasers to spawn enemies, and you can use this as a good opportunity to get item drops. Item drops can happen when enemies spawn, and because there are enemies spawning and such, well, it means those luck chips can come in handy. So that means you don't have to deal with your luck chips meaning absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Now, this boss I still find to be a pain to fight simply because of having to hit its weak point. You can still hit its weak point even if the middle part of the cavity isn't fully open. But let's talk about the most ugly part of its hard mode variant attack. Basically, if it ever decides to spin dash at you, which I'm fully expecting it to do because it's gone this long without deciding to stop in place and damage you that way, it can leave behind suction bombs. And yes, I'm calling it a spin dash. And that's the first time I actually hit it with an Accelerando top. Don't get, okay. Be careful whenever Accelerandos spawn. It can be very easy to forget where they are, and if you do, you could get, oh yeah. That's the laser attack in its most dangerous form. Because how many there are And that's the fastest time I've beaten this boss. That boss usually takes 5 minutes. Let's just say you want to have homing shots should you come across that chip for that boss. It's really good. Danger floor, bonus floor. I'll take the vending machine. Sometimes it's very easy for me to get on autopilot, so let's talk about some other things. I forgot to mention the rest of Agent Force Palette. Agent Force Palette is also because it's the first weapon you get, so you're given the most basic everything, the most basic sub-weapon, the most basic, like, the most basic, special and such. I'd say that's a pretty good, like, that's a pretty good, like, damage, like, pretty good, like, vending machine roll. Let's see, ink recovery rate. Good thing I'm not doing this one. I'll probably do a bonus video talking about the floors I deliberately avoided. Like, there are floors that I just want to avoid at all costs. And now red's my most primary color again. Your color will change depending on, well, your ink color will change depending on what's the most abundant chip. And let's just say, watch this ink damage. That was just a few shots. So yeah. This particular floor, I don't exactly have good memories with this floor. And of course, the Lentos decide to be like, hey, don't mind if we halt that progress. I really hate the Lentos. I really do. So yeah, just don't stop moving, especially if you're dealing with Noble Mentes. Like, there are certain cases where, like, on these floors, you want to basically move when it's necessary. But, yeah. So glad that was the floor I was given. Open season divided floor. Scampering between crosshairs floor. It's been a while since I've been on these floors, so I'm gonna have to see what it's like. Oh, it's always this floor. I always hate coming across this floor, and I've had a very, very dumb defeat on attempt number 4. And it was on floor 27, by the way. Simply put, you have one big obstacle whenever this is the floor. You cannot paint the middle. That floor right there, that is an uninkable surface. So, you need to be absolutely careful. And the one thing that spawns the most on these floors is Noble Mentes. Oh no! 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 You see what I mean by one nudge that's enough to put you in critical stasis? There are chips that weaken them. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why they made them do a one nudge, you're almost dead kind of thing. But that's not exactly a good reason to have that. Like, you know, some of those hacks could have just been normal chips you could have applied. And this run was going so smoothly. I'll see you for attempt 6.